Tonight at 8, we begin with the big day in court for the man accused in the killing of the Idaho 4 last November. Bryan Kohberger is suspected of killing Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle in their off-campus house at the University of Idaho. Some of Xana's family still live here in the valley. Kohberger officially entered a not guilty plea, and today a judge set his trial for early October.
Now this comes on the heels of another high-profile murder case with ties to both Idaho and Arizona. Vallow, and tonight we're exploring the two cases with an Arizona criminal defense attorney. True Crime Arizona's Briana Whitney is here with why these cases could play out very differently.
And they're two cases that everybody's paying attention to. Ultimately, it could come down to just who the defendants are and what their motives were. We know Lori Vallow's motive came from a place of religious beliefs, zombies, and the apocalypse, but we don't know Bryan Kohberger's alleged motive yet. Lori Vallow had the death penalty taken off the table, but that may not be the case for Kohberger.
Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
All eyes on the man police say killed 4 innocent Idaho college students in November, Bryan Kohberger, who entered a not guilty plea today. It's easy to look at his Idaho case and think, well, this goes similarly to Lori Vallow's recent Idaho trial. Both involve multiple victims and both have intense media coverage. Lori Vallow's defense team used media scrutinization in part to get the death penalty off the table, and the judge granted that. Kohberger has immense media coverage too. So could that be the same? Arizona criminal defense attorney Russ Richelsoph says not so fast.
Ultimately, in Lori Vallow's case, it was late discovery that caused the judge to dismiss the notice of intent and take the death penalty off the table.
That means the defense did not have enough time to adequately review everything in discovery before going to trial, and that's what the judge based that decision on. Kohberger's trial is set for October 2nd, just 4 months from now. Richelsoph says he doubts it will start that soon.
It would be unusual if it actually went to trial in October. I think a lot of us were surprised at how quickly Lori Vallow's case went to trial, and I think it went to trial as quickly as it did just because, you know, Ms. Vallow demanded her right to a speedy trial.
And then you have the evidence and how a jury views it. In Idaho, direct and circumstantial evidence should be weighted the same by a jury. In Kohberger's case, there's plenty of circumstantial evidence, phone records, pinged locations near the crime scene, and a digital footprint. But what about Kohberger's DNA on the knife sheath? Is that direct evidence? Richelsoph says many would think yes, including possibly the jurors. But realistically, he says it really isn't.
Is DNA direct evidence? I would say no. It's circumstantial evidence. It means that this person's DNA was found in this place. It doesn't necessarily mean that the person committed the crime.
Richelsoph says often when a case has direct evidence like reliable eyewitness testimony or video of a person clearly committing a crime, it doesn't go to trial. Usually a plea deal is taken. He says the one exception to that are usually death penalty cases.
So how do the motives play a role in these trials?
Yeah, so Richelsoph was saying really interesting that a lot of times behind the scenes there can be a lot of tension between a defendant and their defense attorney, and we don't see that play out. For example, with Lori Vallow, her attorney had to deal with her belief that killing her kids was coming from a motive of getting rid of zombies and a religious apocalypse. But with Kohberger, we don't know yet what his alleged motive was or what his relationship is with his attorney behind the scenes. And those defense attorneys are not allowed to publicly talk about that dynamic either. So that can also kind of play into how a trial comes out.
And that's the part we don't see.
It's the part we don't see, and a lot of people don't realize that that goes on behind the scenes.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
Good stuff, Briana. Thank you very much.